Good evening. Welcome to Pitch Right Stands the Dog. I am Uncle Tats, and I want to thank everybody for coming back with me on this nightly show. Very, very few and far between, but it's good to have the show back for just a little bitty bit. Um, and let's control ourselves in the comments, please. Otherwise, you'll be removed. Moderators keep an eye on things. But really, big shout out to everybody. Brad, David, Strike Zone, NFE, what's going on? Sunil, we have Jonathan, we have ABX, and Sean Browning hanging out with us. And it's really been a very trivial day and a rough day for all the Yankee fans. But it's Donald and I were talking about this earlier about the possibility of what's going to happen going forward. And one of the things I said, it wasn't confirmed that he was going to be having surgery. Well, it was confirmed very shortly after the show, which kind of sucks. But so we weren't able to have a live reaction to it. But believe you me, it's been very dark day for the Yankees for the 2025 season, and it's going to be curious to see what is going to happen next. Unfortunately, Cole, he's going to be having Tommy John surgery, so he will be out for the season. And as Sean points out in the chat, goes next man up, pray for a speedy recovery for Cole. Look, it's not. We all pray for. I'd rather speedy is really not the word you would utilize with Tommy John, but it's that situation where you just hope that when he's back, we do get Cole back for who we expect him to be, and that's all you can really hope for. And I get really I was following social media, right? And I'm looking through X and all these social media outlets. Fans are jumping off. They're jumping off a cliff for the 2025 season. And I think NFE puts it properly. He's not throwing the towel in for the 2025 season, and I'm not either. I'm really not. I still think there's a lot to look forward to this year, despite the blows that the Yankees have taken on the roster this spring. Because this spring has really sucked. It's going to take 18 months before we get called back. Yeah, you're right, David. Maybe we'll see him by the trade deadline next year because they're going to have to ramp him up and everything. And you just hope that there's no setbacks. It's just so freaking it's so freaking depressing, and the way that the fan reactions from other fan bases, I don't know how much you guys have looked into this. It's real. It's so fucking aggravating. It really is. It really pisses me off because people are actually celebrating the Yankees' downfall. And I'm sorry, you want to pray for us to have, you want to hope that we just have a bad season and whatnot. But when you do it off of the news of somebody getting hurt, that's just low class. And I don't think anybody here, I don't care what team you root for and who you feel your rivals are, you want to beat them with the best talent on the field. You don't want to win a series against a team on a layup because somebody got hurt. You never wish for somebody. You never wish for injury, right? That's bad karma, and I don't like doing it. I know people that are Mets fans that were like, "Oh, you guys are, see, that's why we're the big brother. Go fuck yourselves." And if he wishing somebody harm is a cowardly act, perfectly put. It really is. It's low class. It's uncalled for. And it's how are the Yankees going to pivot now? And I messaged Robin Donald this after the show. I wanted to bring this up. I'll bring this up now for us to talk about. And it revolves around the whole situation with Stroman. Okay. Um, Now he's on. If he reaches 140 innings, it kicks in his vesting option for the following season, and the Yankees could be on the hook because they can't trade him now, right? So they could be on the hook next year for another 18.5 million. I mean, and yes, we do have money coming off the books, so it might financially it might not hurt as bad, but that's still $18.5 million that you were crossing your fingers you wouldn't have had to pay in the following season. Well, what's going on, Stephen B? What's going on? And Lou, what's going on? I saw you pop in. CT Cards, what's going on? Tomorrow, CT, give me a buzz in the morning, and we'll catch up. I got your messages, and I apologize. I have not responded. I've been busy, but I do want to talk and catch up on everything. Glad to see you well and in the chat. With Cole going down and Hill being down and the uncertainty of who's going to be utilized in starting rotation, the only winner really is Stroman, because it's almost like a lock that he's going to get 140 innings because you're not going to put him in the bullpen. You need him to absorb the starts from Cole. Now, is he going to be Cole? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's what we're waiting to hear. We're waiting to see if Fried's going to step up to the plate. No whiskey tonight. I thought about it. I really did, but I'm just sticking with my my beer. What's going on, FJ? Good evening. Yeah, I know we don't usually say that to each other. And hey, Cam, what's going on? Stroman is kind of the wild card. You know, it's one of those, you want him to pitch well because it means that the Yankees are going to be able to kind of stay competitive this season. But if he's pitching well, you're not just going to take him out of the rotation. So I think Stroman is you talk about luck. It really is. It's one of those. Stroman's he's gonna reach his 140, and that's really not gonna. It's not gonna bode well for the Yankees next year. Now, I do want him to pitch well this year if they're gonna use him. I'm not gonna go out there and be like, well, I hope he only goes 4 innings because we need to watch those innings. It's not gonna. It's one that's a bad karma vibe. So I don't want to play into that. Aiden, what is going on? Haven't seen you in a minute. I'm going to pull this comment up. No, maybe Warren, Will Warren, or maybe Carrasco. I think you're going to see all of them. I think there's, well, right now, 26 days to opening day. What's the rotation going to look like? I don't know. I really don't. But if I had to say right now, the rotation is going to be Fried, Rodon, Stroman, Carrasco, and Warren. And the only reason I'm not putting Schmidt in there is because he's still on the fence with his back. And until he's cleared to play and pitch, I can't put him into the equation just yet. I know they're saying April 3rd, I think was the date. I'm sure somebody in the chat's going to confirm that. So I don't see where. Oh, he is pitching tomorrow. I did not see that. Thanks for the help, NFE. So much information comes out. I do miss stuff. You know, there's no secret in that. You guys all know me. I'm sure Brad's smiling now, ready to just kind of jump on it. Yeah, we get to see Paul Skeens tomorrow. Paul Skeens, let me tell you, he's a pitcher I really enjoy watching. There's not many opponents that I'll pretty much cheer for, but Skeens he's something special. He really is. But unfortunately, he doesn't play for our team. And then Sunil saying here with the member comment goes, Uncle Tats, here's a recent example of a similar karmatic circumstance. 2019, Severino went down and comes Domingo Herman. Instead, with 19 W's with an ERA north of 4. You know, I know it's Severino. Yeah, when he was struggling, but Severino was a team player. Yep, I do wear glasses, Brad. By the way, I do. I should wear them more often though. I'm trying to get into the habit of wearing my glasses as often as I need to. But no, I think that it's one of those. I really want to see how these other players step up. So if so Schmidt's available, right? So let's reassess this. So you got Fried, Rodon, Schmidt, Stroman, Warren. And I think Carrasco, because he's on the minor league deal, it'll be easier for him to just kind of stay behind a little bit and stay on stay in a rotation so he's ready when and if needed. So I'm not I think that would be my adjustment on the rotation. I don't know how you guys feel about that. If you agree with that rotation, let me know in the chat. Ken's pointing out Skeens is has a 4.56 ERA in this spring training. That's tough. That's a tough ERA, but it's the spring. I've said it before, Ken. You guys have all heard me say I don't look too much at numbers in the spring. I look at, is it, because he's working on re-maintaining, trying to reassess his delivery. Is he only working on a certain pitch in a certain zone? I do that every off season. I usually explain what I look for in the spring. So I don't really pay too much attention to the numbers. I really don't. I'm being honest. It's like, are we all worried, that Cole hasn't, that Judge hasn't hit a home run yet? Does that mean that he's going to have he's going to have a slump in his power? No. And he hasn't really played in that many games. And pitchers take longer to, pitchers, historically take a little bit longer. And so Stephen B is adding in, maybe have a good long man spot starter since Cole is down. But who would your long man be? That's who it would be. Give me an idea of who you would want as your long man. Before Weaver became our setup man / closing pitcher, he's been a starting pitcher in his past. The New York Yankees rethinking his history, maybe reshifting their strategy somewhat here? No, because his value is all in the bullpen. He's our 8th inning, 9th inning guy. I'm not changing that. He's very comfortable in the bullpen. So I am not changing a thing when it comes to Weaver. He proved himself. He established himself. Leave him where he is. I don't want to start the flip-flopping. We saw that with Phil Hughes. We saw that with Jabba. And it never worked. So if they've assigned him to a bullpen, leave him where he is. That's it. So we'll leave that at that. And if he's saying, and if you are not following the Strike Zone on YouTube, make sure you jump over and hit the sub button on him. Ken also has a chat. Ken, keep putting that link in the description. We're gonna do our best to help your channel grow as exponentially as possible. Judge stinks this spring training. Fire Boone, fire Cashman. Hey, while we're at it, let's just trade Judge. Why are we wasting his prime years? You know what the return we can get on him? I saw that argument. And that's the only thing with X. It does that auto refresh, and you can never find a freaking the tweet. I'm like, because I wanted to screenshot it. because I didn't believe what I was seeing. Beater in the bullpen, yeah, and I think Beater's one of those guys. He might be able to give you 2-3 innings if you really need it in a pinch. So I would Beater's on the IL too. Who the hell's not? You know what? Who instead of asking who's on the IL, we should just start asking who's available because it'll be a shorter list. When he's back from injury, yeah. And David is here saying that we need to see our bats come alive. Yeah, it's we were trying to figure. I was talking with a coworker of mine who's also a Yankee fan, and we are trying to figure out how to realign things so everybody kind of gets to utilize their strength without. Yeah, it's Oprah giving out the injuries. You have no fucking idea, bro. We were talking about some of the alignments that can be had, and it was right. You're gonna Judge in right field. You're gonna have what if, because now with the you were being able to be patient with guys like Dominguez, and because we had the pitching to really carry the weight. So now, what's going on, Jacob? How you been? So now that you have cooled down, you have healed down for a few months, you're not sure what you're going to get out of Warren, and I think very highly of him. So what if we had to make an adjustment as far as now just the priority of really letting Dominguez figure it out in left field? Do you just say, fuck it, we can't afford to fall too far behind in the standings, and we really need to do our best to get off on the right foot? Do you make the move now to put Dominguez in center, put Bellinger in left, and Judge in right? Do you just make that move because we can't afford? We really need to optimize run prevention, and it is the timeline for Dominguez to figure out left gone? Like, can the Yankees afford to let him continue to grow, even going into the season? So let me know in the chat what you think of that. And I'm going to get to a couple more of these comments. He says, today Warren faced off against the Tigers A squad and handled them very well. No, he did. Warren, I'm really high on Warren this spring. I think he's been I think him and Peraza have really stepped up. So, Strikes will say, Boone is adamant about keeping Dominguez in left field. Look, being stubborn is not going to win you a championship. Being smart with your alignment of your players, that's what's going to help you win games. Boone's got to stop stop being so stubborn about this. He really does. And he's the boss. And so whatever he decides he's going to do, this is just my idea. This is my idea. This is what I think they should do starting the year, is not waste time on the if he could figure out left field. Well, just put him in center. He played fine in center. Bellinger, he already made the statement when he came over here. He doesn't care where he plays. He just wants to play. Stephen B. Maybe Carrasco as a spot starter and Longman makes sense if Warren gets out. It's like start a clean inning and keep the bullpen rested. See, with Carrasco, he's seasoned enough. He's a veteran enough. He should be able to handle that. So if I had to really guess, I think that might be what they do. But I heard another suggestion, of going to a bullpen, using a bullpen game in the rotation, which I think is stupid. Our bullpen has issues enough in the second half of the year. Do you really want to start giving them extra innings right off the bat, right out of the gate? It doesn't work that way. So, I'm wishing this into existence, but if you remember how much of a defensive mess Jeter was in spring training in '96, no, well, that's why I look. I'm not saying that I'm giving up on Dominguez and left. I was one to say I want to see. I was giving him until April. If he wasn't figured out by April, by March, May rather. What month are we in? If we didn't figure out by May, right? And you got a full month in left field and just wasn't figuring it out, then you make the move. I think that was fair, but at the same time, we don't have time for him to learn now. We need to put everybody back. We need to put everybody in a position where they're going to succeed. So the patience for him to learn is now thinner than it was 48 hours ago. So that's all I'm saying with that. I'm not giving up on Dominguez in left field. And I understand there's going to be growing pains, regardless of what position he plays. Let the growing pain be where he's the most comfortable. So that's where I feel on that. Can throw it in here. That's my bet is that when Everson Pereira is ready, he will be the left fielder. Dominguez will be shifted to the DH role. I heard that argument too. That was my friend's idea. Was to have Dominguez as the DH, Bellinger in left, and Grisham in center. Personally, I didn't think it was the craziest idea. I really didn't. What I have against it is taking Dominguez out of the outfield. He's got it. I don't want him stuck into that DH spot because we need to keep the DH position fluid, and you're not going to use him as a spot outfielder. I think that's going to completely destroy his value. If Dominguez goes to the DH role, fans will flip out. Can't wait for those comments. You know what that's going to do? It's not going to be fun. It's really not. Pereira would be an option DH. Let him work on his defense while helping our offense. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to Pereira, but another name that really comes up for the DH, which still leaves it fluid because it's not like he's a guy that you're going to be able to rely on day in day out. But let's not ignore the spring that Dom Smith is having. Dom Smith is a DH option, and he's not one of those guys that you're going to be pressured financially to put on the field in the lineup every day. He doesn't have to DH every day. So I think that I think Dom Smith is going to make. I think he's going to make the opening day roster. They're going to need some type of need some productivity with the bat. Florial clearly didn't work out for Cleveland either. Yeah, poor Florial got fucked. It really did. It's just really what they did to him was terrible. I always liked Florial, and I remember Robin Donald will tell you I used to scream about why aren't they using Florial? Why aren't they using Florial 5 years ago? When the three of us first started doing shows together, I was always yelling about that. I want to get back to this comment from Ken. The thing that people are not paying attention to on the Dodgers rotation, they have 11 starters. Dustin May, Paul Gosselin aren't going to make their roster. I believe each is out of options. That makes things interesting. Because believe me, you think the Dodgers are worried about giving us, their eighth or ninth starter in their rotation for that to come back and bite them in the ass? The Dodgers aren't afraid of that. So that could be an option. So maybe not a popular opinion. I don't think missing Stanton is as bad as we think. Not having him in the postseason will hurt. Yeah, it's with Stanton. I'd rather it be now than later. And I think a lot of these issues with the roster, better to have them now than like post trade deadline where you have no way to go. What you have, and you just got to ride with it. But if you do follow us on Twitter, we do have a poll up on the Pitch Chronicles page where I asked. I'll pull it up so I don't say it out of turn and speak on it. Put a poll up. What should the Yankees do for the 2025 season? Trade the farm or let the kids play? And so far, even though it's been early voting, right now it's 84. It's going to be up it's a 2-day poll. But right now, let the kids play is at 84%. 16% for trade the farm. So, is this one of those years where, you know what, we've been dealt a lot of blows? Is it time for the Yankees to finally just kind of open the books and just see what you have? And just cross your fingers that you're going to be able to increase their trade value. I don't know what you guys think of that. And he's also adding in they have better options at the age as opposed to 23 and 24. That is true. I think we have enough to get the postseason now, but we need some reinforcements come deadline. See, here's where I'm going to disagree a little bit. And I don't think we have. I got to see how they start the season. That's why I said I declared this morning they're not making the World Series. Can they make the postseason the way it's expanded? How do you not make the postseason? But it's going everything from here on in is going to have to click perfectly. And we do have Cashman at the helm, and we have Boone as the manager. Getting to once you get Boone in this last postseason, the World Series run with Boone, there was very little to complain about. So Boone is a very different manager in the postseason, but sometimes he has trouble managing getting it there, and being able to sustain the momentum. That's his downfall. Another comment here. I don't think Ben Rice goes north with the major league team. Dom Smith is a first baseman, and the Uber driver takes the backup catcher role. That would be disappointing. That really would be disappointing that if Ben Rice is not coming north. I think that would only happen if really Ben Rice kind of levels out and Dom Smith just continues to really swing the bat like he is. Wayman was factually taking away a lot of those Uber driver jobs. I think one thing, what's going on, Nick? Yep. Of course, today we had to bring, I had to bring it back for a night. I'm my confidence in the season is ironically very dark right now. I'm not giving. I can't give up on the season. I really can't. I just don't see where you can say before a game has even been played that matters that it's only tonight we'll see because my schedule gets a little. It really all depends on my work schedule. Yeah, the dog. I got the dog behind me now. Uh, it's it's hard to say that the season's over because we haven't played a meaningful game. You know, March 27th is going to come in 16 days, and the record's going to be 0-0 for everybody that's taking the field that day. And you don't know which teams are going to emerge. You don't know which teams are expected to play well, like the Yankees are, and take a step back. So it's you don't know how the season's going to play out. You really don't. Just who do I think is going to be on the bench this Yankee season? I'd say the bench would have to be if I really had to say. I think Don Smith's going to make the roster. Cabrera's going to be on the bench. LeMahieu. I'd really like to see Pereira on the bench. But if not Pereira, I would put Ben Rice on there. Just because he can still be a guy you bring in for Escara. I forgot about Escara, the catcher. So and they always have a thin bench. So if you're going with 4 men on the bench, you're probably thinking Cabrera, LeMahieu. This is what are you going to do with him? Even though he's on the IL now, but as soon as he's healthy, he's going to be back. So that's the only reason I'm mentioning his name. Escara as your backup pitcher, backup catcher, and Ben Rice. I think those would have to be it. They'd have to, in order to get, because you can't shortchange your you can't go with one less pitcher to increase your bench because you're gonna need your bullpen. Yeah, Grisham. Saying, yeah, go the cheap route and go get Alcantara from the Marlins. Marlins love giving good players away for cheap. I don't know. I really don't know about Alcantara. A couple years ago, he was a good commodity. Not sure now how that would all play out. And this other comment from Nick. I'd be concerned as a Yanks fan. Red Sox have gotten better, and losing Cole's a huge loss. Then you have Stanton hurt too. I would go after an ace. Cease should be the target. Not Cease should be the target, but unfortunately, Nick, Hal operates on this imaginary salary cap, and he's not going to want to spend because every $1 million they spend over the budget, it costs them $2 million in taxes. So if he, and desperate times come for desperate measures. Respect that, understand that. But the Yankees don't operate like that anymore. I think that era of the, let's just do what we have to do to win is not in their cards. They're going to do what they have to do to win within a budget. And so that big ace is not, they're not making a big trade like that. And Cease isn't even on the market. And do we even have the prospects to do it? Do we have the depth in the farm where you can pull off it? Because we used a lot of prospect for Soto. I don't know that I brought that up this morning. And you can't keep the Yankees can't keep selling the farm and hoping that it works out. They already made that move for Soto, and I would do it again. But we did get to a World Series, and it was some bad baseball by players that we least expected it from. So that's what I'm saying. You never know how the season's going to play out. So, like NFE was saying earlier, you can't give up on the season, but you can't panic either. You have to be strategic about it, and I don't think I think the Yankees are going to be strategic in house. They're not going to look into the market. They might surprise me and do that, but I just don't see it. Just give me 1 second to get her out of the way. Go outside. All right. Yeah, always confused and confused and tired. Yeah, welcome to my world. Who's the Yanks' number one pitching prospect? Is he anywhere close to being ready for the bigs? Yeah, that's right now. That's right now. It's Warren. Warren's been really stepping up to the plate. He's really been pitching well this spring, and he's going to get a shot in the rotation. Yeah, Eastman's my co-host. Always. He's always getting in the way. So, give this a few more minutes to get to some of the comments here. And then if Texas somehow gives up on DeGrom after the second Tommy John surgery, do we go looking? No. The dream of DeGrom in the Bronx is done. It's done. It's funny you brought that name up because that was the name that Nick threw to me in a text. Stephen B. Look, I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, but you guys don't make it feel like work. So credit to you guys. The fans need to show patience, which we know they won't because their expectations are asinine. But that's what I was saying earlier. Right? It's to that point where maybe we need to lower our expectations. It's like, could you imagine? Like I keep saying, I dread the year with the social media era. It's check your comment below that one. Here's an opportunity for the Yankees to utilize some of their prospect stats. Fans have been complaining. See, exactly, because this is what I wanted to close out with, because I mentioned this earlier, and it bear repeating again. This is why nobody likes Yankee fans. This is why we get so much criticism. And my cousin Nick, he's in the chat. He'll tell you. Right? This is why we get so much hate from other fans. We are never fucking happy. We want to hold on to all these guys. Let the kids play. Let the kids play. And if those kids play, I say we let the kids play. They finish under 500, but they're showing really, really good growth. Right? They just fell short, and we just, just some things just did not go our way. The Bronx would burn down. Right? We trade away our prospects, and we go all in this year. We got Judge in his prime. We have to prioritize World Series or bust. There's no wiggle room. The expectations can never be lowered. And those prospects, right, whoever we get in return for the prospects don't work. Then what? Then, oh my God, Cashman's such an idiot for trading all these prospects. It didn't help us at all. Because we've made trades that fans said, "Oh, we got it." Oh, he would play so well at Yankee Stadium, and when they don't do it, what a stupid trade! Right? Say it was Sonny Gray was one. Yes, that was Rothschild screwed up his pitching, but he was another one. The Yankees, the fans couldn't wait to get. Oh, we stole the Athletics ace. What? How could we make that? How could we make that trade? Same thing with even Stanton. And Stanton's a tough example because it was very, on the fence either way. since day one. But I was one that was very happy, and I'm still happy he's on this team. We could have, just, here it is, the Yankees. The Marlins put him on the market. It's coming off the MVP season. That is and everyone's saying, "Oh, that's such a Yankee move." It is a Yankee move, but the Yankees, the ones that screwed him up, because he always felt the best when he was playing on the field, and as soon as we get him, he's not an outfielder. Meanwhile, in the National, there was no DH then. He was playing every day, and was still putting up those offensive numbers. So that's another one. Frankie Montas, we missed out on we missed out on Castillo because they wanted, I know they wanted Dominguez. I believe Volpe or Peraza was in there as well. But you can't give up those guys just for a pitcher. It's fans are never happy, right? Because the only reason you're a fan is to watch them hoist the trophy at the end of the year, and when that doesn't happen, you're disappointed. But there are paths you have to take. The path the Yankees are on right now is not working. There needs to be a pivot. Maybe they need to reset, let these kids play, have a couple of seasons where it's going to fucking hurt, and just let's see what happens. So that's how I feel. Solution fight, yeah. No, that is the solution, NFE. You need a changing of the guard. But Cashman, with his, the way he operates and keeps feeding money, the way he makes more helps Hal keep making a profit for the shareholders to keep the team going and keep the brand. Then this is really what you're gonna get. Last time Yankees rebuilt was 93. Yeah. And it was shocking to hear that Donald, when he made the comment this morning, he's never seen a losing season. He's never seen the Yankees finish under 500. I was like, one made me feel old, which I usually do with you guys anyway, which is fine. I could take the joke. But it's, I think this is that year that we're going to just have to suck it up and lower the expectation. I'm sorry. I hate saying it. It's painful to say it. He had home. Yeah, and that was a good chat with Homer Bush. He said being a Yankee prospect is hard because they're a win now organization. That could be another reason why these prospects struggle, because they have to play Hall of Fame level right away to prove their worth, and that's not right. The Yankees over the last few seasons have traded a ton of pitching prospects. Last year, the team drafted 16 pitchers, another 14 international prospect. But no, they've been able. They've been able to really, as much pitching as they trade away, they just seem to find it. Like it just seems like a never-ending glass that just stays full. It's amazing, and that I do give Cashman credit for. I'm not taking anything away from that. He's saying effectively we need to have Marshall become the next Roberto Kelly. Yep. Yeah. No, he's got to be better because he's the Martian. Because we gave him a nickname already. Yeah, you can't waste Judge's prime years. That's what we're saying. But you can't, Nick, baseball, the way that baseball is now, it's, you don't just have the Yankees to just dominate the headlines. Teams now are run, your team, by financial conglomerates, whether it's a group like the Dodgers or with the Mets with Steve Cohen. Winning is, all they have to do is start showing that they can't, like the Yankees are in it every year. So, but could you imagine, like with the Blue Jays, with their whole media, that they run the whole media thing up there with the Rogers Center and the Rogers Group. They throw money around left and right. Nobody wants to go there because they're just not their organization's not taken as seriously as some of the other big players. So the the ownership landscape has changed. We don't have when George was around. One, there was no salary cap. Yeah, the taxes are ridiculous. We have the situation where the Yankees aren't the only dog in the yard anymore, and the fans refuse to accept that. That's why that the fans refuse to. They think it doesn't matter. We're the Yankees. Who would not want to come play for the Yankees? Well, there's one right in the borough right next to us that made that decision. So, did we forget already? Because at first we thought it was all about the money. Then we find out you did some interview where you said there was a higher bidder. And Nick, you did not do this, and I credit you for this, and so, my brother too. They were not some of the ones that were like, oh, their first thought was, laughing at the Yankees. Like we're so in your heads. We still stay in your heads. And there's something before I sign off because I'm losing my voice. There's something that Nick said in a text earlier. The thing is, baseball better hope that the Yankees figure it out because when the Yankees are not good, baseball does not do well. They need their big teams in the mix. And so the Yankees have some work to do before opening day. So with that, I am going to sign off. I do thank everybody for coming back on the After Dark. I really am trying. I really want to get to these more often, more of a weekly basis. Work schedules are going to alter that. So, and I am trying to make sure that my schedule is available once we have the memberships built up because the intent is for this to be a members chat. So this way for the people that are members of the channel get something for themselves. It's really that to be blunt about it. And so that's just the way they deserve it. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, Nick? But with that, hope everybody does have a good rest of their evening and enjoy your day tomorrow. We will be back on the morning show Wednesday at 10 a.m. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this out. And I am Uncle Tats, Pinstripes After Dark, saying good night. So let's pinstripe your pride and play hard.